Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's another episode of Geekonomics. We are back. Bryon is here with his They Live shirt. He's fresh out of bubblegum. And we are ready to talk all things nerddom. How you doing, Bryon? How's things? How's life? How is you?
How is you? I like that.
How is you?
Should put that on a shirt. How is you?
Yeah.
I is good.
Good.
We got some news. We have the Halo season finale and series to talk about, and a little bit later on, second half of the show, we're gonna have our friend Matt Ryan on.
Yes, he's gonna talk all about his new comic he has coming out, Brenda. And he's also be talking to us about CliffsCon, big hotel show coming up next weekend, or this coming weekend, I should say.
Yeah,
this weekend. Yeah, blows by quick. This weekend down in Bristol.
Yes, very excited for that show. I mean, this is going to be like my first show without dragging 7 boxes of comics with me.
Yeah.
I'm actually in the process of getting stuff together. But yeah, it should be a good show. Sunday, Memorial Day weekend, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 9 a.m. is going to be early bird, Bristol, Connecticut. We'll talk more about that later.
Yes.
Over the weekend, I went to my first celebration of life events for a friend that passed away.
Yes.
And I like this idea that people are doing now.
Yeah.
I think it's more of it's a party atmosphere. You're celebrating your friendships with everybody, but you're remembering that person who passed. And you know, if that person was alive, they would definitely love that idea as well. Yeah. And I'm all for it. I just wish more people would do this because I think it's a fantastic idea.
It's just, I think and even just going through the stuff with my mom and everything and all that too, it's like you're kind of like, you're done being sad, kind of. You kind of want to like remember that person in a happy way. And with the people that she would have wanted to be around and used to enjoy partying, like being around at parties and events and things. And you want to talk about that stuff. And like, I don't know, I feel like the other way of doing it, not a bad way of doing it. Other people have their own feelings and how they do things. But I know for me and my family, we've talked about it a lot. And it's just like, you just want to like, remember the good times. You don't want to be sad. Like, I don't want to be sitting in a room for hours, just people walking by telling me, you know, sorry for my loss, sorry for my, yeah, I know, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, I want to like remember my mom in a good way and the fun times we had and the parties we had at my parents' house. And, you know, she would have loved that. She used to love having those Memorial Day parties and all the different things and stuff like that. So.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I know that one's coming up. And it's just, it was definitely interesting. This one was at the Summers KFC. It was packed because there was a Jack and Jill happening in the outdoor pavilion. There was another Jack and Jill sort of thing happening upstairs.
Jeez.
And then you have a life celebration happening at the bottom. The place was mobbed.
Wow.
I saw people I have not seen in well over 15, 20 years. In my early 20s, a lot of these people, I was friends with. I'm still friends with them, but
not like in-person friends, like your
I haven't seen them so long. I thought I would be there for 2 hours. I was there until the entire time. I was trying to say my goodbyes. Those goodbyes lasted 20 to 30 minutes per person. But it was a great time and a great celebration of our friend Mike Richardson, who passed away. But and then another friend of mine from Chi-Chi's just passed away, and they're going to be having a life celebration this summer. So that would be interesting as well. Yes. I know, it's weird. It feels like once you hit a certain age,
you get more of those than you get other things.
You usually get like middle, like 20s and 30s, it's weddings.
Yeah.
And then once you get past 40s, it just seems like funerals.
Yeah.
Or second weddings, right?
Yeah, second weddings. Yeah.
Second or third weddings.
Baby showers.
Yeah, baby showers are very common now.
Yeah.
But it's the the funerals seem to be popping up everywhere now.
Yeah, the longer you live, the more of them you'll go to.
Yeah, sadly.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Beyond that, that was my weekend. Mark, how was yours?
It was good. Just been doing. We did nothing. That was the plan. The plan was it was going to be warm. We decided we're not doing a dang thing. We're not leaving the house, really. We're just sticking around. Claire went and had her hair done on Saturday with a friend of mine from high school, actually, is her hairstylist now. So kind of keeping it quiet. The next couple weeks are going to be busy.
Yeah.
I know it's going to get busy, so I just kind of wanted to just like veg out for a weekend and not really think about anything and just, be, which has been nice.
Nice. Yeah. Sometimes you need that. I'm kind of, Sunday was my more relaxing day. And we got Memorial Day weekend coming up.
Yeah.
Then
my mom's thing's the next weekend after that.
Yeah.
And then I'm back into the grind of the kart series again. So just trying to keep myself sane before it gets too crazy.
Right. Totally.
I did watch the season finale of Saturday Night Live.
Yes, so did I.
Saturday, yeah.
I watched it live, which is not normal for me.
Yeah, me neither. So
I usually watch the next day, but I heard the rumors. I had to see if they were true.
Yeah.
Sadly, Kate McKinnon's leaving. I love her. A.D. Bryant's leaving. I love her too.
Yeah. Pete Davidson.
He's leaving. I like him too. Kyle Mooney. I'm a Kyle Mooney fan. He's leaving.
Yeah.
But we knew there was people leaving. Cecily Strong wasn't sure if she was coming back last year.
Yeah.
But it sounds like as of right now, she's not leaving.
Yeah, she's like the Kenan Thompson of the female side of the show, it seems like.
She wants to leave. But she decided to stay. I think some people are staying because the 50th is coming up soon.
Yeah.
In the next 2 or 3 years, we have the 50th. So, but it was a good episode all around. They just released a digital Pete Davidson rap that was cut for air.
Yeah.
With Lauren Michaels. It was sad he was leaving, so he wrote a rap. And then Pete Davidson said, "Well, I will do this rap for Lauren. Whatever he wrote, I will sing it." And it was pretty funny. It's on YouTube right now.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, I hate this time of year because all my shows are kind of ending.
Yeah.
My Law and Orders, my SNL,
Halo, all your shows.
My Bob's Burgers, my Family Guy.
We got Shorzy coming.
So speaking of Shorzy, I this past weekend I was talking to someone who actually watched the first episode because they used the VPN to watch the Canadian.
Devils. I've been thinking about it, but I was figured I'd wait.
But it's coming out.
Yeah, a week. It's coming out
this week.
This week. Yeah, this Friday. So
right. So they said
Friday from Hell, as I'm calling it.
They said it's awesome. They said first episode was, and it's pure hockey, and a lot of these people are not even actors; they're hockey players, which I knew.
Yeah.
And the person
put a lot of clips. I've seen a lot of clips.
I watched one, and I was like, I'm done. I want
locker room clip is hilarious. Then there's a clip with him being interviewed for talking to a reporter, which is hilarious. Who was his girlfriend in the last couple seasons, I think, of Letterkenny.
I don't think there's any recurring people or actors.
No, it's not. She's not playing the same character though. But I think it's the girl from Quebec who he was dating.
Oh, okay.
And she went to the bar and she was making out with a guy in the hallway.
Yeah.
I think that's the reporter. She looks familiar. I could be wrong, but I think it's the same.
I'll have to see.
I know in some of the promo stuff because they did like a bro dude ad thing for the show.
Yeah.
And it's the girl who was the other Quebec girl that his friend was dating when they had that episode where he was fighting the guys from Quebec.
Yeah.
She ended up working for Bro Dude.
Oh yeah, Bro Dude. Yeah,
the model girl.
Yeah.
So she's
Instagram girlfriend.
I think there's gonna be there'll be actors from Letterkenny but playing different parts in this. I think spread throughout randomly.
Well, if I had to make my guess, I feel like because there's only three, I think they've only mentioned there's only three hockey teams in that area.
Yeah.
I feel like we have to get Riley and Jonesy.
Yeah, Riley and Jonesy got to pop up somewhere.
Yes, with their team up against Shorzy's team.
Well, I guess it's the way that the one I saw had the guy from Sports Center.
Yeah.
Who actually was on Fox Sports 1 back in the day when they tried to pull those two guys over to America, and it went terribly because they didn't let them do what they do in Canada. But he was on there, and it was another hockey player. I can't remember who it was, and they were talking about how the league that they're in is like a 4-team league that only they only play in this one town.
Yeah,
it's 4 teams, and that's the whole league.
Yeah,
it was just it's very funny. So
yeah,
it's on there somewhere. So
I feel like they have to show up.
Yeah.
I'm technically right now I'm in season 9, which was the season that was filmed in COVID times. I watched the sleepover episode. So each of them they were in their own little area. It was a really funny episode. And at the end, everybody has a crush on Bonnie McMurray, of course. Of course,
Bonnie McMurray.
But such a great episode.
Such a great show.
Well, yeah. I mean, I love it.
Like I'm tempted. I keep toying with the idea of just rewatching it from the beginning all over again. But
I think the show, now you've seen them in order, the show works just watching your favorite episodes. I don't even the very thin through line that may or might not happen sometimes.
Yeah.
There's such standalone episodes. You could just be like, I'll watch this one. I'm definitely going to watch the Christmas one, Christmas time. That's now on my Christmas list of shows I got to watch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So it's a good one.
Halloween one's not bad either, just because you get Bonnie McMurray in multiple outfits.
Yes, but she's not wearing those. She's actually going to do something.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. I do have 2 things of news, and then we'll get into Halo.
Okay.
So, Rick and Morty, the animated series, has been ordered by HBO Max.
Is it an animated series?
It's going to be anime.
Oh, okay. You said animated the first time. So
that's an anime version of Rick and Morty, which should be very interesting. I will definitely check that out. And then Frank Miller is coming back to go back to some old properties. Yes. Ronin, which is a fantastic series. If you haven't read Ronin, you got to go read that. And then he's coming back to do some more Sin City. And Frank Miller has gone off and done. Well, he did Master Race, Dark
Batman.
Master Race, Dark Knight 3, which was really good. I think when he revisits his old properties, I think he shines. He's created a lot of newer stuff that hasn't hit. So I like to see what he does with this.
Yeah.
It should be interesting. And I think that's all I really have for news, to be honest with you. Do you have anything of news?
Oh, not really. I did read the Free Comic Book Day Bunny Mask issue.
Oh, yeah?
Which is very interesting. Piqued my interest in the book. So,
I mean, I love the graphic novel. So they started a series 2 of that.
Yes.
They picked up episode 1. So it's a whole new storyline because it's the origin story of that first 8 issues or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's up your alley or not. It's a little supernatural.
I don't mind supernatural stuff.
Well, what'd you think? I mean,
the book was good. It was like the Free Comic Book Day. I don't know if you got it.
I did.
It goes it tells a different interpretation of the story. It's like they have 2 stories in there.
Yeah. You like that was my cat
wandering
stash.
Walking through the shot,
Yeah. It was like you said, it's like the neighbors kind of peeping through the bedroom or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. It reminded me a lot of Donnie Darko-ish.
Yes.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah. These people are kidnapped. These people are kidnapped by this crazy guy.
Yes.
And live in a cave. He puts them in a cave, right? I'm like talking to a cat and butthole.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing right now.
That's what you do.
Hello, can you hear me?
Echo.
Does it have an echo in there? And this supernatural being is in there, and antics ensue.
Yeah.
It's a hard to explain comic without cracking it open, right? I mean,
yeah.
But I did enjoy it.
Yeah. So, but besides that, that's about it for me. There's not much else going on. Pretty quiet in the old Western Front.
Yeah. Well,
I did watch Halo.
Yes. Okay. I have my notes for Halo.
I will preface this saying, for me, it was the best episode of the series.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you. So
and I understand why they're doing things. I know in the chat you guys have talked about certain things, but I saved it because I don't want to get into a thing with John, so I don't say anything in the chat.
Well, John's not even watching it, so
I know, but he still just goes off on his John tangents, and I don't want to hear about it, so I just don't say anything.
So I'm gonna season 1 of Halo. This is my experience. I watched 1, I watched 2, I stopped in the middle of 3. I watched just the review. I just turned on the recaps. I read the recaps from the rest on. This one, I physically fired up Paramount Plus, which I haven't fired up in a month.
Yeah.
And I watched it. And I felt like I wasn't lost. I felt like I knew exactly what was going on.
You don't have to. You could have just watched the first episode and this episode. You would have been fine.
Yes. Yeah, I kind of agree. The first two. First two at the very most.
Yeah.
And I see what they're setting up. It was the best episode that I've seen.
It was the most like the video game.
Oh,
of all the episodes.
The moment Silver Team drops down.
Yeah.
Onto that planet.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, all of a sudden there's all these zealots coming. And you guys have to fend them off until you can get to the next port. I'm like, so this is just a wave. This is like a wave of zealots coming.
And my favorite is they're coming in waves. There's hundreds of them, and it just looked like maybe 50, and they all get blown away, and then you never see them again. What happened to the rest?
Well, there's more coming. They showed the bunch of them coming up the hill.
Well,
but it was very, very video game-esque. It was like the one part of the thing where like, well, we got to give them some kind of video game look to it. So here you go.
They did the first person view. They did some weird fisheye, which
that's the lens on the inside the helmet. Like they kind of were showing how like you get like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked a little weird at times.
It was forced. It was like they were forcing the look. Like, oh, we have to get really realistic about it. Like you would be looking at a curved helmet, you would see the fisheye look. I'm like, okay.
The CG was a little weak at times. I mean, I overlook it because I thought it was cool, but it was a little wonky.
Yeah.
At times, right? I mean, am I the only one thinking that?
No, I mean they did all the tropes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just there's some parts the thing that they didn't pay off anything with the Quan story that they've been forcing down our throat for a whole season. We got no
thank God.
No reason for it. They're really like the end of the season, like if this was the end of the show.
Yeah.
If, for some reason they decided not to do the second season. There was no payoff to anything that was in that Quan story whatsoever. There was no, you really could not even have that in the show whatsoever. And no one would know any different.
It would have made the show so much better without Quan. I'm telling you.
It's like there really is no. It's like somebody in the executive producers had some idea to do this, and that's why it's been shoehorned in.
Yeah,
to the story. There's really no reason for it whatsoever.
None. And I think having no Quan in this episode made it better.
Yeah.
But you're right. There was no payoff.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So you have the Covenant. Basically, they have the plans to.
They were going to use McKee to get them on the Halo and then kill her, basically.
And Halsey was basically going to have Cortana take over Master Chief's body.
Yes.
Basically, basically they were having the same plans on both the different sides.
Yeah, because she just wanted the Halo too.
Yeah. So they're using these people. But they're special. But they're special people. Why would you use the special people?
Well, that's what happens. But
okay.
So anyways,
I got bones to pick.
I bet you do.
The bone I gotta pick is Master Chief takes out his butt chip. Then what's her face takes out her butt chip. Their emotional.
He sees Master Chief take it out.
Yeah. So then they're kind of rogue. Why the rest of the Silver Team are still brainwashed. They still got their chips in. They should be following orders. No if, and, or but chips about it.
Well,
Master Chief
does to show that the chips themselves weren't powerful enough. That's what it's showing. It's showing that the chips, like they have an attachment to Master Chief and Kai. They're part of their team. They've been raised together. They've been together this whole time. It was them like trying to say like feelings can overpower anything, basically. And there was no like Halsey to override their feelings with the chip.
I know. So years of brainwashing. There should have been more conflict other than Master Chief.
Well, they showed conflict if you'd seen the last episode, which you didn't see the whole thing. You watched the recap of it.
Yeah.
In that episode, when they were doing the fight scene, they were like moments of conflict amongst those two characters. Like they had like they were like, we don't want to do this to you, Chief. We don't want this to happen. Don't fight this. Let us just take you in and we'll figure it out. So there was like that impetus of that happening. So it was leaking into them already.
Yeah. That
they were questioning why they were having to do this.
It just seems like
they kind of like just paid off that in this episode, kind of.
All right. Well, I mean, I just feel like there should have just been more like conflict of them. It just seemed like
it wasn't as it wasn't well written, but it was just there was at least basic things dropped to like be like they might turn.
All right, so there was because I felt that was just too easy.
And I think it's also I think the way they were portraying it in the episode 2 was that Chief is like their older brother of the whole group, so they always like go off of him, and if he's the one that's telling it to them, it's like they're like, we know this isn't right. We know we shouldn't be attacking Chief. He's our guy.
Right.
Why would we, listen to the upper people when the guy who's been with us side by side this whole time? They're like showing that camaraderie thing of, soldiers' brotherhood is more powerful than.
But in the same
a lot of like loose strings that they tried to connect together.
I was about to say, in the beginning of the series, they were going to turn on what's her face when she was just questioning things, and they're like, "What do you talk?" Like, so it's just like they didn't give a shit about. It just
shows it. Just to me, I think they're trying to portray the fact that the other two are very weak-minded, and they're just followers, and will just do whatever they're told, basically.
Yeah. What do you think about I didn't see this coming. I don't know if you did, but Halsey has a clone of herself.
I saw that coming because she said the whole thing about how she replaced all the kids with clones, and Cortana was a clone of her, kind of.
I knew that.
So it was like, I think they were like, that was kind of obvious that she was gonna
clone herself,
and then drop the clone as like the background, because the guy is going to be alive too. I think the people that were on that ship were the clones that were.
It's such.
I don't think she's been around for a couple of weeks now. I think it was the clones doing the whole thing.
I know. It's such an easy out, though. I don't know.
Well, it's just a way to keep the big bad floating around. You don't want to like let go your big villain in the first season. I mean,
I know.
They're gonna do the thing where they go back and they're gonna go after Halsey and.
Well, in the video game, and John did say this, and it's true, where Master Chief is the brawn and Cortana's the brains. In this, he was an okay fighter, just like everyone else. But then
he was the best of them all.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
If he was the best, though, this is the part that bothers me. He went back to get the artifact. The two guys floating in their chairs are right there. He could have just killed them.
Well, because he was when he was heading that way, he was going for McKee, not the artifact.
Yeah, but remember he takes the artifact and he puts it on his shoulder.
But that wasn't him though. That was Cortana.
Well,
Cortana had taken him over at that point, and her mission was just to get the artifact and get out of there.
They could have taken him out, like boom, boom.
Because I think her thing was more of just to get the artifact and get out, not worry about anything else. And they'd floated away by that point. They'd raised up.
No, they were right there.
No, they raised up. There was a whole scene where they show him raise up into the air.
I think that happened after, though. I swear to God, it shows him
Who knows?
After.
You gotta keep the villains. You know, you can't just kill the villains off in the first season.
Why does Master Chief like? I understand this whole. He's trusting her, but I'm gonna kill myself, and then we're gonna resurrect me like Jesus, and then you're gonna possess me.
I think it was just the whole thing of she knew he couldn't do it by himself. That he needed to they need to come to the point where they can symbiote, like some symbiosis or symbiosis kind of thing, where they're like one entity. But he can't do that at that moment. He needed to have her just take over and run the show and be like the unstoppable killing machine. And then they'll go back and they'll figure out how to get John back in the consciousness with her. And they're like a shared consciousness as opposed to like him holding her back from taking things over.
I don't know. It was weird. I don't know how I didn't really like.
It's also the easy trope of being like, hey, here's how we can get away with just having him be a faceless, speechless automaton.
He should have been a badass to begin with. He didn't need to have Cortana. Could have been like, oh, you have people on your left. You have people on your right. Just being like, I think
they just didn't like. They wanted to figure out a way to not. They're like trying so hard to use the premise of the basic premise of the video game, and they're trying so hard to not do the same things as the video game that they're like messing themselves up as they go along. It's like, oh well, the video game did this, so we can't do that. So we need to do it this way. Like, oh, the video game, she was just implanted into his helmet. You know what? We'll go a step ahead of that, and we'll implant her into his head.
Yeah.
You know, he never takes his suit off in the video game. Well, we'll make him walk around in this no suit for multiple episodes.
Naked even.
Yeah, it's like I think they're just trying to like divert away from, because like the guy that wrote it said, and it's been in multiple stories, he's never played the video game. He just saw the video picture and knows what the character is.
Yeah.
And read the background of the character, and that's it. He's never actually like delved into the story. So I think he's like, they're like trying to like divert away from the story as much as humanly possible, so that way they can say it's their own thing and not something that they ripped off from somebody else and are using to make their own.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna bother with season 2. I mean, Paramount Plus, my subscription will probably run out before season 2 even comes out.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna be out for it won't be out until next year sometime.
Yeah, I got a year's worth. I think next March will be done. And I probably am not gonna get it again.
Yeah, I do the monthly thing, so I can drop it and restart it again when I feel like watching something on it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I would have more. I mean, the South Park movies. That's why I got a South Park movie drops June 1st. So that's basically why I got it, because I figured $50 for the year. Sure, I'll do it. It's cheaper than paying monthly.
Wrapping up Halo, because our guest is appearing. So
all right, wrap up Halo. I give the series a 5 out of 10. I give that episode a 7 out of 10.
I'll give the series, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I'll give that episode, on the curve of the series itself, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Not in like a grand scheme of things, but on the level of that show, it was probably the best of the episodes, of all the episodes.
Right. I do agree. It was better.
But coming in now, coming in hot.
So it's being recorded right now?
It is. We're recording. We've already been doing the show for half an hour.
We're ending it with you. You're our ender.
Yeah.
You're a big main event.
ClipsCon. We got to talk about ClipsCon and your upcoming book.
We got a cat, now we got a dog.
And your dog. Who's that? Hey, what's his name?
This is Bubba. This is Lila. She's my little Bubba.
Hey, Bubba.
Hey.
It's getting weird.
She's really tiny.
We had Brian's cat walking across the screen. Now we got a dog.
Yeah. Gotta love it.
My cat will not come near me. So,
Here's
we got 2 dogs now.
What dog's this?
This is Bumblebee.
It's Bumblebee. Yep, that's
Bumblebee.
Bumblebee goes to work with me.
the Ewoks.
Yeah, they look like Ewoks. Yeah.
They are. They're smart. They're little. They're funny. Oh, so we got to talk about the ClipsCon and
from the Empire. It's good things. They're very helpful.
Yeah. ClipsCon, and so let's talk about this Sunday's event.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. It's okay. We'll be fine.
I'm not scared. I'm good.
He had that petrified look on his face. Like, oh yeah, it's coming.
Well, it's weird. I'm home. I feel a little unsettled. Like it's just weird.
Yes.
We'll make this painless. Don't worry.
Yes.
So
I'm scared.
We'll take it slow. Don't worry.
We'll be
I hung out with Wally yesterday for a little bit.
Yeah. Wally of iRobot fame.
Well, tell us after.
I know it's not iRobot, but I like calling it that. So that way it annoys me.
iRobot. So Matt Ryan, this Sunday at ClipsCon in Bristol, Connecticut, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yes.
You'll be there. Now, what will you be doing, and what will you be offering the fine folks of Connecticut?
I'll be there promoting my upcoming. Oh, yeah, it's right. I don't know. I'm not going to have them here yet. I have a story to tell about that. Like,
yes, there was a publishing issue.
Yeah, like so.
In other words, I'll say it. My sister didn't do her job correctly, so we had to wait on the book to come out.
This is not cool. So this, Mark, you first. You're out of line. So I'm going to tell you that right now.
Really? I can't believe you threw your sister under the bus just like that.
Wait,
why not? Why wouldn't
she never saw this page.
I know.
And
I've
snuck
joked with her about it already.
And I could not have one of the people who helped me put the book together. I could not have a typo on their name.
No,
there's no way.
No.
So
although I've spelled Brian's name incorrectly for years now, so don't feel
yeah. So I sent it back, and it's like, so I can tell you that the book looks absolutely fantastic.
Look at that.
It feels really good.
Smells fresh.
Yeah.
So what you're telling us is we will not be able to purchase this Sunday.
No, but I'll be promoting it. So there are people that are actually already reading it. On the on the Free Lunch Studios Patreon page, there are people who are actually reading it week by week, one page at a time. So every Wednesday we have new content coming out, and there's exciting new stuff that will not be in the book that will be part of the web delivery. You'll be able to use my characters in D&D situations. And I'm thinking about actually doing mini maps so you can actually play scenarios from the series anywhere you want. Nice. So it'll be a little bit of King of Monster Mountain, a little bit of Brenda, a little bit of D&D in a very portable setup. And it'll complement the scale and size. So this is the Brenda. This is the first official like cardstock cover, glossy pages, full color Tim Gaffey colors, like really good looking stuff.
Former famous intern of Free Lunch Studios.
Yep, Nikki Warko did a great job. I'm actually thinking about having her come up with like different logos for each book, which I think would be very fun.
It is fantastic.
She did a great job, and she was super dedicated to it, which I like.
Well, let's reel this back in before we get too deep into this. Well, you can show that first, but
here's the scale, right? Yeah. So,
which sad news, going back to news, this week it was officially announced Marvel has officially lost Conan.
Why are we
rights? So
I don't know.
Why don't derail?
No, I'm just saying because he showed the Conan book, so I'm just saying it's a sad. I know. Week let's
for
Conan fans.
We can talk.
I'm gonna hang up in about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you're killing me, man.
Let Matt Ryan finish what he's trying to tell us.
I didn't do this to you, Mark, with that Star Wars weirdness that we had to endure.
I was sad too. This sucks. But what I was saying was Brenda. Go back to Brenda.
So yeah, the scale, you'll see it's different. It's made for smaller hands, but it doesn't mean it's not for everybody, right?
All ages, as I've
so
been
no business on the front. All the business is on the back. There's hidden Conan humor. In the whole book, you see even the cover here. Excuse me. The cover is a tribute to the Frazetta Rogues in the House painting. So there's a lot of hidden fun Conan stuff, but I'm also world building. I'm building my own content.
And for those who don't know, where does Brenda come from?
So publishing wise or worldwide, like her own worldwide?
Where did Brenda originate? Would be the first question I have.
So the first Brenda stories I did were back it was a 24-hour comic challenge. I did 3 Brenda stories that nobody has seen. One was about her complaining about her father's cooking. One was a babysitting adventure. And then there was one about trying to get her father to take her out to the pit fights, which is her favorite thing. And those 3 short adventures, like if you ever come to Free Lunch headquarters, you'll see, I've got a couple of posters up of that first cover where she's dancing around her father in a big bed of flowers. That was first, and that was before I even became the house artist for CES. So
that's way back.
Yeah, so that was back when I had the large studio in Granby. And it was just something I needed to get done. And I remember when I was transitioning from my own space to becoming the house guy for CES, that's when I came out with Food Fight 1. And she was in the first story and in the first issue of Food Fight #1, which there are none of those left in existence. So that only exists on the digital platform. So that's where she came from. She's inspired to me. She was inspired by my kids, my 2 daughters. She's also a big influence of the Conan storytelling. A little bit of Looney Tunes, old school. So, some people, I don't want to say they'll be offended by the slapstick humor, but they might be. The characters will do terrible things to each other.
People are offended by everything nowadays, so it's not worth
it is weirdly
worrying about. Yes.
Yeah.
I think if we don't bring attention to it, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I think anybody would like it. I'm super excited about it. It's been a long time coming.
I told the story on the show before how the first time I heard about it was when we were going to one of Bill's first shows, I think at the mall, and we went to breakfast at IHOP, and Matt came in with this huge notebook and sat down across from me at the table. We were just talking about other stuff. He's like, "Hey, I have this idea for a book I've been working on," and he just read me out a full notebook of 4 stories of this character that was in Food Fight that I knew about from that. He was like, "I'm doing this. I'm going to do this. This is my big thing. I'm working on. I'm going to do it." That was 4 years ago.
Yeah, and it was 100. It was 100 pages of roughs.
Yeah.
And now I have over 200 completed pages done, and I have 7 of these graphic novels ready to go. So the plan is to do 2 a year, to have a balance of free content to go out on the web. And then people, if they want to subscribe and read a page a week, they can certainly do that. And they'll end up saving money if they want to, if they end up paying like $12, a year, they'll end up getting 2 of these graphic novels, plus free content. The plan is I'd love to do like a little handbook of the monsters and the creatures, and I would love to reprint her original adventures. But right now it's scanning and coloring the second series, the second story. So like the Cursed Sword, there's nothing. I think only 15 pages have been scanned. So I'm doing that, and I colored the cover for that the other day. So it's it's a lot. It's a big thing. It's a big monster that exists, and I'm super excited about it. And it's gone through its share of weirdness. So like Mark, you say 4 years ago, you counting COVID? Because that stinks. Like,
well,
nothing.
it was technically 4 calendar years ago that we talked about this.
Oh, trust me. Yeah. And I had to write it, pencil it, ink it, and letter it.
Like I said, when I saw it was you just in a notebook, you had like really rough drawings of different things. You showed me the pelican. I think you showed me the pelican guy from one story, and like little tidbits you showed me here and there of stuff.
No, I remember. When we sat down, we were at that breakfast. I showed you everything.
Yeah.
It was the whole full 100 pages.
Yeah. That I said to you that day, I'm like, I don't want to see it again until it's completed.
Yep. And I was,
I've held to it too. I've held to it. He's tried multiple times to be like, oh, I want to. I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. I don't want to know.
And I carried around those 100 pages
every show we've been to.
Yeah, for a long time. And I just realized like a month ago, I don't need to carry him around.
No.
Like I don't know why. It was like because it
weird
wasn't
obsession.
It wasn't just the 100 pages, but it was also the character designs.
Everything.
And there were some maps in there. So I streamlined it down. I actually have it. It's like an orange folder in my bag now. So it's much more streamlined. So I'm not breaking my back carrying a
huge backpack, and you've like held it like it's your baby.
Do you want to see? Do you want to see like a cool thing that?
Sure. We'll see cool things.
So this is what I bring. This is the bin that I carry my pages around in, and I have. So I work at home almost as much as I work at the office. Come on, where is it? There it is. So this is going to be this is the cover for the.
Wow,
that's nice.
That's the cover for the 5th graphic novel.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's really good. So Matt, I got 2 questions.
Yeah,
we're gonna go back to the beginning. Now, it sounds like there was a mishap with the printing, if something was misspelled. So those graphic novels you will not be selling them on Sunday because of that, correct?
Yeah, but I also but I will have these. So this was a cool thing. This is where Brenda meets the Zombies basketball team. This is where my worlds collide.
Oh.
This is same size, but it's a Brenda adventure in there. And take a look, like thinking ahead, same size. Nice. So it's all kind of roped together. So I will have these, and I'm going to do like Brenda inspired caricatures if people will let me. Okay.
The other question is, because you can't sell that, you're waiting to get it reprinted. Will you have a mailing list or a QR code where people can put their name down or pre-purchase it online and mail it out, or however you're going to do things, so that way when you do have them, people will know?
That's a great idea. I'll do that. I'll do that.
Okay. The reason I ask is because
this is the one thing I love about Matt is we come up with ideas randomly, and he's like,
I asked because I was excited to get that, and obviously it's not going to be there. But if you had a mailing list where people can be like, they could sign up, or if you're selling it online, you have a QR code, people can literally pay for it on their phone, and when it's ready, you just ship it to them. I don't know which way you're going, but it at least gives people an incentive to come visit you the next time, to buy it,
pick up their book they already ordered.
Yeah. One thing Bryon, you've published your your Twin Peaks book, and
which Matt has prominently in his living room on his
I want to ask you about this. So like when this book is slowly coming out digitally, I don't want to make it available on Amazon until it's done
right
on the web. So you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I mean, well, if you put it on Amazon for a digital, you can sell it on digitally and physically. Amazon does take a big portion of those sales,
which is fine.
That's fine. If that's fine with you, you should do it. I mean, and I think digitally, I mean, we still sell like 4 or 5 digital copies of our book a month.
I just don't want to short sheet. Like, so I have people that are invested in the story that are reading it week by week. And
I think your Patreons are getting the week-to-week sneak preview, early access. They're getting all that. And then when you have a compilation, you sell it to the mass.
Yeah, I would wait until you have the full book done.
Right.
One book, and then put it digitally out for sale.
Yeah. So wait. So put it on.
If you do it ahead of time, then like the people who've been doing it the week to week would just jump to the digital and just read the whole thing.
Right.
Right.
And your Patreon is basically their early access.
Yeah.
You're giving them, that's what they're paying for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's good and we'll definitely, Mark will put your Patreon on the page or in the notes, the show notes.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
What is your Patreon? What is it? Say it out loud.
Patreon / Free Lunch Studios. www.patreon. I didn't put an ad for it in the book because it's all based at freelunchcomics.com. If you go to the website, the landing page for the Patreon is right there.
Gotcha. All right. We'll definitely promote that for you.
So I'll show you here's another cool thing. This will not be in the graphic novel. This was a teaser image of the next edition.
That's pretty cool.
We pulled that out.
Yeah.
That is
I love the artwork. It's so good.
Thank you. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be just because of the audience of who I work with, and it's going to redefine like my comic presence, right?
Right.
I've told Matt this beforehand. I've said this to him multiple times. My favorite thing he's ever done is the Terra Wellfleet.
Yeah.
And I have a very strong suspicion that this is quickly going to supplant that as my favorite thing that Matt's done.
I hope so, but if not.
But there is a second Terra Wellfleet coming, so that can be taken back over again.
There is a second Terra Wellfleet that's done. It's just a matter of me putting it out there.
Yeah. Which I can't wait for, because that's
you know what's nice is
literally my favorite thing he's ever done.
One long crappy plane ride or something, I can wrap that up and scan it back when I get back to the office.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Brenda's like your new mascot.
I'm sorry?
I feel like Brenda's your new mascot almost, you know?
Yeah, she will be.
Brenda is going to be the flagship. She's going to be the...
Yeah, the shark will still be on there. Like the shark is still going to be on the back cover.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot easier to sell to people too, because your main thing now, bigger, is like your bigger book now.
Yeah.
We deal with a lot, and it's a little bit more difficult you have to be particular about who you promote that to. Whereas Brenda will be a lot easier to sell. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I'm not going to.
A lot easier to give out to people. Hey, come here, read this.
The weirdest thing I was actually doing the home show in your old hometown in Enfield.
Brian's hometown still.
And someone came up to me and they're like, there's a lot of anger in your artwork. I'm like, whoa, okay. Well, I can tell you there's not. And we had a very interesting conversation. She got really put off, and I was like, okay, see ya.
I think it depends upon what they're reading.
She was looking at Food Fight. It was at the mall. I didn't bring anything crazy.
I mean,
you know what though? You have to
fighting,
it up.
So
they're projecting. They're like, so that's great though. As an artist, you got
everyone's interpretation's their own interpretation. Yeah. Yeah,
you got a reaction, good or bad, and you know what? If it's bad, that's still good for you because someone got a reaction.
Yeah.
And they're just projecting. They're projecting their own feelings onto your artwork.
Well, like I was telling Brian I think it was last week's show, we were talking about Free Comic Book Day, where of all the things I've been to with you, I think I experienced like the coolest thing I've ever experienced doing stuff with you at shows. And I wasn't even working the show with you. I just happened to go and hang out with you for a little bit. When that kid like randomly came in and said the reason why he even came to the shop was because he saw you were going to be there, and he saw your art and everything, and he was like, I was like, what the heck's going on here?
That was
just want to put him in a lie detector to be like, there's
That was really cool.
Did someone pay you? What's going on here?
And he wasn't from close. He was from far away.
No, he was from far away. It was like South Windsor somewhere.
Wow, that's awesome. That's so cool.
It was really nice. Very touching.
Yeah.
Thank you, little boy.
Yeah.
The little boy, that was his mom that told you.
Yeah, his mom was the one that said you right anger.
Yeah,
angrily.
They sent the boy to make good.
To make good. But going back to CliffsCon, which is coming up, because Brenda will be coming the next month or so, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
That's maybe a show down the road. Maybe we'll talk about that later on.
Well, we have Scott's show in June, and then we have the other Andrew show in July.
There's another show.
Cool. I'll be bringing it all over the place.
Yeah, it'll be everywhere. We'll find it. You won't be able to get away from it. So
yesterday I was working at the Windsor Locks Library, and I let the librarians look at it, of course, while I was drawing their customers, and they were all about me doing a signing and a release party at their library.
Nice.
James McCree, who owns the Brick House, he wants to do something.
Obviously, comic shop for people who don't know.
What's that?
Is that a comic book shop or what is that?
James runs every 2 weeks. It's like a open comic warehouse sale, and it's really cool. So like, I went down there a couple weeks ago. No, it was back in March. We went down there to check it out. I went with Wally, and he hired me on the spot to do a logo for him. And
oh yeah, I remember. He's the guy that has a booth at Plainville as well.
Yes, he does.
You know him, Brian. You've met him before.
He does. Yeah, he does Scott's show too.
Yeah.
So he basically has this warehouse, and he's got tons of long boxes, and he's got toys and video games and like the CGC graded stuff.
Yeah.
And he does a really good job, and it is his full-time job now. He's just driving around to different collections and bringing stuff back. So he's constantly cycling through stuff. So he's really and he only does it every 2 weeks. So it's not, he still does the shows and all that, but he's hustling. He's getting stuff done. It's very, very cool.
I got that guy that bought all your stuff from your tag sale, Brian.
It's not him, but it's sort of like that. Yeah.
Did you hear that story yet, Matt? We talked about it last week on the show. Some guy came to Brian's tag sale and just bought all of his comics right from him.
Nice.
Everything. Well,
every box he had, just about.
Yeah, all 7 boxes gone.
I wonder who it was.
I'd never seen him before. I told him about Scott's show. He'd
never heard anything about any of the shows.
Nope. He buys for his own collection. He told me he's got about 30,000 in his own collection, and then he sells what he doesn't want online, and that's what he does. He works from home. That's what he does.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But anyways, the other reason why we wanted to have you on, CliffsCon. That's the other thing we need to promote here.
Oh yeah.
So CliffsCon, tell us about it. What's going on? What will you be doing at CliffsCon?
So every year, Cliff celebrates, or he honors his show by doing a really massive edition of the show itself, and it's double the size. There's more vendors, much nicer venue, and that's not to say that the other venue is bad. The other show is great. You pay $1 and you get to see these different vendors. You could do a lot of damage in there.
Yeah, it's small. It's in a VFW, so everyone knows how the size of that is. But.
Yep. But this is at the DoubleTree by Hilton in Bristol, over by ESPN. It costs a little more to get in, but you're getting access to a lot more vendors. You're getting access to a lot more cool stuff. I know Mitch from the Terrificon, he's going to be selling tickets. I think they're giving some away. They're going to bring back the door prizes again. I know that it's going to be very Pokemon and toy heavy.
Yeah.
Which is kind of exciting because Mark and I did the toy show in Manchester, and that was, well, Brian, that was nuts.
It was nuts. I've never been to a show like that. That was great.
Yeah.
So I think you'll see a diversified line of product at that show. I will be, like I said, I'll be drawing caricatures for the kids who show up. And I'll be doing commissions and stuff. I think it'll be a good time. I know Spider-Man and Spider-Gwen are going to be there for photo ops. If you like that kind of thing. I'm trying to think of what else is going to be going on there. What is it, 42 Century Boulevard or something like that? That's the address.
Yeah, Brian's got the flyer and everything. So
yep, it's a nice place. I know that they do in-house food, so don't if you go to Cliff's show, like Cliff and his goons are usually cooking some really tasty food. He's not going to be running a kitchen there, so they have their own in-house menu.
There's a bar there and everything.
Yep, but you know,
good food. We've had food from there before.
Yeah, we had food.
It is good. But you could strategize and get something good, if not better.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff around there too. There's a couple places and stuff in the
Totally.
area, so you got plenty of options.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm super excited about it.
It's always a good time. You always find interesting stuff that you wouldn't usually find at other shows too, which is always fun.
What's wild is I usually miss like every other year of this show, so I'm happy to be able to go.
I know.
Yeah.
The last one
working in a booth by myself, and it's not as fun.
Was in November. Cliff had this show in November at the
it snowed. That was
a little. Yeah, it was a little snowy out right before the holidays. It was a good turnout.
I remember I drew a decent amount of people at that one.
Yeah.
So
we picked up those cool digests, Mark.
Yes, I was not gonna mention it because I don't want to want people to know that they might be there. So
the Archie digests, folks, they're going to be huge. You got to find them. Archie only. Archie digest.
The funny thing is, when I was a kid, I had a stack of those things. I loved them.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Kind of why I made the Brenda a little bit smaller. I like that size.
More digestible.
Brenda digestibles.
That's my new name for it. There you go.
That sounds terrible.
It sounds like an edible.
Sounds like a
digestible
Flintstone vitamin, but they're Brenda digestibles. They're
Look at these colors, man.
Knockoff version.
Everyone's a caveman. All right. Well, we shall wrap up this show.
Yes.
Thank you for being on today's show with us, Matt. Give everybody your information before we head out. Webpage, social media, all that.
So if you want to follow anything that I'm doing, Free Lunch Studios is really the way to do it. So Free Lunch Studios on Instagram, freelunchstudios.com, Free Lunch Studios on YouTube, even though I haven't had a chance to do anything video lately. Or freelunchcomics.com works just as well. Yeah, I'll be around. It's different local shows. Terrificon is a guarantee. I'm definitely going to be there. But yeah, that's kind of it. If you ever want to visit the office, it's in the penthouse suite of 2 Park Place in the booming metropolis of Granby, Connecticut. I haven't said that in a while.
Call ahead first. Make sure that you're there.
Yes, always call ahead first because, yes, I may not be there.
Yes.
Yeah. So cool side note before we go, I got a full-time job. I'm a full-time artist for Bad Elf GPS systems, geospatial company. So I'm still drawing a lot. And if you ever want to see some of the stuff that I'm doing, you can see Bad Elf on Instagram. You can see some of the fun things I'm drawing for them.
Nice. That's awesome.
Keep him busy. He's a busy boy.
Yeah, super busy. And I'm still working for the wrestling people. I'm actually inking a wrestler right now that I have to turn in on Thursday. That's why I'm home alone.
Yeah. He's drawing a logo for the kart series.
Yeah, I could put some serious hours on that yesterday. It looks good. It looks good. What else am I working on? Yeah, me too. I've started, Brian, I'm not gonna lie. I've drawn more pictures of these carts and I've hated all of them. But this is the actual one. I feel so good about it.
I get texts like every other day. I was almost done and I decided not to give it to you. I'm like, oh great.
You're in good hands.
No rush.
He knows what's good and bad.
We only have 5 more races, so you got time.
You'll have it by the end of the last one.
Yeah, the last race you can premiere the
company is only waiting to start making the shirts, so we're not in any hurry or anything.
It's tough anytime, and this is tough when people say, "Hey, just make a thing and do whatever you want with it." That is a scary field of space, and it makes it very. It becomes a challenge for me. So it's and not knowing much about what Mark does, and it's so cool, like to be able
No
to
one
be at
knows
the,
what to do.
when I went to that show, that was a big help. It snowed that day too,
Did.
but
That was snowing.
that was a big help. All right, I know you were trying to sign off. It was good to see you guys.
Good to see
I'll
you.
see you on the road.
We will see you. We will see everybody next week. As always.
Are you going to record a show there?
No, we'll do it the day after.
Oh, that's too bad.
Because Brian's got his booth and I'll be with you, so we won't be next to each other.
Yeah, and it's we can't record while we're there.
Yeah, too many things going on.
Yeah,
it's more fun to talk about after the fact than as it's happening.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Subscribe, like, and we'll be back next week.
And as always, be safe, be good, be kind.
Rewind.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye.